wondering how I got into this mix.
Hey, what's up everyone, this is Derrick Broze. We're at Anarchopulco 2018, and I think it's been probably 2 years since I talked to this man. You all know him, Mark Passio. How are you doing, brother?
Great, always a pleasure.
Well, look, what I want to talk to you about today is, and I was just saying to you off camera, is you just finished your speech here, which was essentially calling out the anarchist movement directly to their audience for two things specifically. For one, a disinterest or a lack of knowledge in spirituality, the search for deeper meaning, mainly being left-brain atheists, and also for ignoring the occult, ignoring some of the more conspiratorial things.
Yep.
Those are both things that I've come across in my experience. What I loved is you get to close out the main speakers. I started off, and both of us were basically saying, you're all missing the point. There's a deeper level. You got to get to the root, which is that people are not, for one, besides ignorant, we all have these issues that are not being dealt with, that are not being processed, and the occult, whoever you want to label them as, they take advantage of that. They divide us, they conquer us through our fear, through our lack of knowledge. Why did you feel that it was important to come here and say that today?
Because I have dealt with the anarchist community in my personal life for so many years, and in my dealings with them, they're very nice people. They have a desire to want to change things for the better, and they do want freedom. So in that regard, we're on the same page. However, when I talk to them about the conditions that generate human freedom or generate the loss of freedom, I have noticed over the years steady, persistent resistance on their part to the understanding of those causal factors. And there's been very little movement in their understanding of them, of those factors. And these are the things that I think separate my work from most other people's work, is that I don't talk about the 3D things. I don't talk about the daily
economics,
news items. And I will acknowledge them. I'm not ignoring them, but I'm saying that if we want freedom, these aren't the things that need to be focused on. We need to understand what is the actual inherent laws that generate human freedom, or that we generate our tyranny and enslavement as a result of ignoring. So these are the laws of behavioral consequence. I'm not the first person to understand this. This has been understood for hundreds of thousands of years by human beings. It's lost knowledge because it has been hidden from human minds. They don't want, the occult does, I just exploded the most deeply held occult knowledge by every dark order in the world to this community here today, whether they know it or not. Many of them don't know that and won't accept it. But that's the truth, because I was in the occult. Okay, so I know what these people know. Okay, and what I've been trying to explain to them is they're holding this information back from you because this is the exact information you need to know to escape their control. And as long as people remain ignorant of it, they're going to be able to be manipulated, duped, and ultimately held under mind control in one form or another, and they're going to be set against each other, fighting each other, and they're all in the same cage together as slaves. Okay? I'm trying to explain we need to come together under one purpose of understanding the common sense laws of right and wrong. If we don't understand that there are objective right and wrong actually embedded in the fabric of the universe, it has absolutely nothing to do with what we think of as right and wrong. These are laws that are embedded within creation. That all we can do is choose to recognize those laws and then align our behavior to them. So many teachers throughout the world have recognized the existence of these laws and tried to teach them to human beings. But because of the calcification of the human ego, people are very unreceptive to it. One of the reasons that I like the tradition of Kabbalah so much, and it helped me to overthrow my form of programming and worldview, was, and I'm talking about esoteric Kabbalah, okay, the deep mystery tradition behind it, was what Kabbalah means is to receive. And in order to understand the laws of creation, you have to open your mind for proper reception from creation. That's right. So the people who are all closed and think that I have it all figured out, I can't learn from this person because they're talking about something that doesn't yet resonate with my worldview, they're closed vessels. They're not going to open up and be able to receive the knowledge. And as long as they're closed to the reception of knowledge, the people who have that knowledge will always have a tactical advantage over them, and there'll be a power differential in place because there are, as Lark and Rose explained earlier, monsters in this world who are psychopaths that will take advantage of that knowledge differential. They'll learn it, and they'll learn how it works, but then they'll try to overthrow it or to insulate themselves from it to the extent that they can by manipulating other people. And they've done it very effectively, and unfortunately, to give the bad and be the bearer of bad news, people say I always look on the negative side. By my observation, and I think I have a pretty good finger on the pulse of humanity, I gauge where people's mindset is at almost instantaneously from talking and having conversations with them. And when you can see the overarching worldview and mindset of the population, you can tell they're no closer to understanding this. There are some. I don't want to be totally discouraging of people. That's not my intent. I want to show them what our work is to do. And I can't blow smoke up somebody's ass and say, oh, everybody's waking up and the world's going to be fine tomorrow, because it's not.
Well,
They're not, and it's not. We have so much more work to do to get people to an accurate understanding of this that it's sad.
And that's what I want to ask you about that. About, you talk about the great work, right? And well, for one, I want to say, unfortunately, I agree with you. I mean, I tend to be a bit more optimistic than you, but personally, privately, I agree with you. I mean, I think that there's so much work to do. I travel, increasingly as I travel the world, and I see just the wasteful mentality that exists, let alone the belief in government and those institutions, and it's very discouraging. It's like, wow, how can we ever convince all of these people to start letting go? And I get very overwhelmed, very anxious, but I do believe that through people like yourself and myself and many people at home, that there are efforts being made, obviously. Like you said, you don't want to discourage everybody from that. But what do you think, besides confronting this audience specifically, can you and the individual watching do to make this change? The
number one thing people can do is get their own house in order, and you have to do that not only through knowledge, but through self-work. You have to do the spiritual hard work, the shadow work upon yourself to get your mind, your emotions, and your behaviors in alignment with these laws. Then you got to teach them to others. You can't see, the beginning of this work is not you personally. The end of this work is not you personally knowing. That's the beginning of this work. The end of this work is teaching everybody else to such an extent that it becomes common sense, everyday knowledge that is as obvious as the sky is blue on a cloudless sunny day. That's how firmly in the human consciousness we have to get this understanding entrenched, embedded.
Like the work of a bodhisattva or something. You have the knowledge, but instead of just, like you said, claiming it for yourself, you're just getting started. You got to share that and help other people.
I almost consider myself that. I'm never going to leave this place. Everybody thinks, oh, I want to get out of the world. I want to get out of the earth. I'm not going anywhere until everybody here knows this. Now, how long will that be? Probably until the earth spirals into the sun. That's probably how long.
Well, we're better off for you being here.
I'll take it. I'll do it. I'm not interested in going anywhere. I don't want escape. I want transformation in thought, emotion, and action. And that can't be accomplished through escape.
Well, I appreciate your work. I know everybody here was really thankful that you were able to come here. And even those who are probably resistant to the message at this point, because, as you said, some people, they heard some of it. We can see people getting up and walking out. But those who heard it understand that, and I know that everybody who believes in this message understands that what we have to do is work on ourselves, because even with the knowledge that Mark shares, if you are all screwed up inside and you're incapable of dealing with your own shit, then the occult, the Illuminati, the deep state, whatever you want to call them, they're going to continue to rule over us.
That's right.
Thank you so much, brother.
Derrick, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Man. Thank you.